Welcome to Between the Ears, a quick pour, where we talk about fighting out of a bad start.
When you're in a tournament situation and things, maybe not even things aren't going well, but the score is not going well, how and what can happen for you to right the ship? So, Mike, we'll let you jump in there. So, all of a sudden I had goals of something was going to happen today. First 3 to 5 holes, the golf gods are telling me different. What can I do to right that ship?
Yeah. Well, I can start. You mentioned goals, and I think that's the first place to start, because what is the goal of the person? We're assuming, obviously, in the situation of JJ Spaun, he's wanting to win that tournament. So that's a main goal for him. But so the second thing is we have to look at a number of different factors to determine how somebody's going to react to it. And then based on how they react to it, then you might give them different kinds of interventions or strategies. But the first thing that has to happen is a person has to continue to believe that they can still get that goal met. That's number one. So in his situation, I think he believed he could still get that goal met. I think his caddy said, hey, everybody's going to have these situations, these stretches during the U.S. Open. So I think in that particular situation, with it being such a difficult scenario, when golfers are definitely going to have some struggles during the rounds, it may have been a little easier for him actually to maintain belief that he can go ahead and continue to win, even though he just had 5 bogeys in his first 6 holes. But you have to have that belief that goal is going to continue. And that belief comes from all sorts of other kinds of beliefs. So for instance, what the number one thing is, he has to figure out, why did he have 5 out of 6 bogeys? Everybody's going to have those kind of thoughts going through their head, and that's called an attribution. That's the cause of what just happened, and everybody does that. So he's going to have one that's productive and constructive. A lot of people in members and amateurs and so on, they may not have any idea how they just went 5 over if they're a really good player, or 10 over if they're a bogey golfer or something like that. They may not have any idea. And so if they don't have any idea, now they feel lost and confused. And now they don't have a way to right the ship, because they don't even understand why it happened in the first place. Whereas if someone like a JJ Spaun would be able to know what happened. So he would be able to not catastrophize a situation like that and be able to realize that, okay, here's what happened. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. As you said, he wasn't playing terribly. Just some things happen. And so that's the first thing that we have to make sure people do, is they have to make sure they have an attribution of cause of what's happening that they can do something about, that is controllable in some way. So then the next question is, how much do they think they can control that cause? So some players are going to be very low in that belief, and that's going to be hard for them to right the ship, because they don't think it's going to happen. They might try something brand new out there on the golf course, or they're just going to keep trying something different, and hopefully something actually works. And that happens to amateurs all the time, where they just don't have the knowledge about what's happening so that they can figure out, hey, all I got to do is switch this up slightly and I'm good to go. And so those are a few things just to start. There's other aspects of it too. Like, okay, now that, let's say that you know what caused it. What is your belief that you can actually make a change or keep doing what you were doing, even though you weren't having the success that you were wanting or expecting those first 5 holes? So let's just go with the second one. They have to adjust something, let's say, whatever it is. Maybe it's just their mindset. Maybe it's their aim, their strategy, their process of going through their shot decisions. It could be a little bit in their swing and their grip, whatever. But let's say that they're in a situation now where they realize what's causing it, but now we have to look at what's your belief in your ability to change and execute this adjustment. And so there's all these different levels of belief that only one of those, if it's really low, could create kind of not a disaster, but obviously a downhill spiral. And so there's a number of things like that I would think that would be very important to look at. And Spaun obviously passed the test on all of those.
He
You know,
did,
he
didn't
passed all of those tests. And the last thing I'll say about this is if the person's game has been derailed so much and they really don't have a chance to get that original goal met, then it's about figuring out what other goals do you have? What other values do you have that you can still go after during the round? Because
he?
if
Yeah,
you have those goals, you can actually really turn it around without necessarily even making any swing adjustments or anything on strategy adjustments. It's just about changing your goal to something that you can do more in terms of your control. And so that would be the other thing I'd say is we got to have these backup goals that may not even be backup. Maybe they're a part of what you're doing already. And the winning is just in the background somewhere. And so
yeah,
the fact that you went 5 over doesn't mean these other goals are in jeopardy, because those are things that you might have every round. So those are a few
yeah.
thoughts I have on what are some things that can derail somebody when things go poorly.
Make sure you follow us live on YouTube on Between the Years, the last Wednesday of each month.